Hi everyone, Sip the Neat Tea Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new Bad Bunny album, Verano sin Ti. This is the fourth solo studio album from Puerto Rican singer and rapper Bad Bunny. I may not have been blown away by his debut full-length album, but he did skillfully formulate a lavish, effect-heavy Travis Scott-style elevation of reggaeton on his Yo Hago record a few years ago, and then began to expand his imagination on the following El Ultimo Tour del Mundo, which was quite theatrical, featured a larger variety of music styles, and was presented in such a way to where it sounded like a giant stage show. Bad Bunny really made 2020 his year, even with the pandemic raging on. He even fed fans with a CD of unreleased tracks and, extras from his past couple of records too. But since the release of that project, he's been playing it really cool on the studio album front. We have waited a little bit to get to this moment, and you cannot say that when Bad Bunny comes through on this project that he did not deliver the goods, because Verano sin Ti is his largest offering yet at 23 tracks and like 82 minutes. And I feared this record would be nothing but Bad Bunny just phoning it in after having hit upon a sound and a vibe and a style that he knows formulaically works for him, coming through the record where he boils his style down to the simplest, most basic and repeatable elements and just giving fans that over and over and over. Now, with that being said, there are songs on this thing that feel like a mere extension of what Bunny has already done, whether it be on his debut or Yo Hago, with huge banging effect-heavy reggaeton and Latin trap music. The songs on this LP that go in that direction are nothing too ambitious for Bunny, or all that catchy for that matter. I mean, certainly the vibes are there, especially since over the years, his vocals have gotten a bit stronger, his production has gotten more colorful, whether we're talking about 2016 or Terra with Jay Cortez. Also the opener, Moscow Mule, as well as the song Effecto, where Bunny describes the drug-like effect that someone is having on him, romantically speaking. It's as if that love, that connection is a high, but emotionally there are far more lows on this project to be had. Not really a surprise considering the title of this record is A Summer Without You, as in the lyrics of this LP there are a lot of references to loneliness, and even when there is some kind of connection or sexual encounter going on, there is this sense of it only being temporary. Eventually it will go, it will leave. The short and interlude title track even references the dejected feelings Bunny is hit with after some kind of romantic loss. He's going to therapy, he's drinking tea, doing self-care, wondering where did what we had go. So this is quite possibly Bunny's most emotionally intensive project that he's dropped so far. It's definitely his most versatile too, as there are some pretty colorful and fun bops all over this thing, like the explosive Latin jazz fusion instrumental on the track Despues de la Playa, which is just a fantastic inclusion on this LP and performance-wise is non-stop fire. There's also the kind of quirky and driving reggaeton beats on TITI Me Pregunto, which also features one of the catchier refrains and choruses on this LP too, Un selfie, se cheese. There's a great atmospheric beat switch in the second half too. We also have an acoustic bossa nova cut on the song Yo no soy celoso, which is actually quite lovely despite the lyrics being so overcome with jealousy that Bunny seems to be worrying a romantic interest on the track. Some of those by-the-numbers reggaeton and Latin trap cuts that I was referring to earlier create kind of a dead zone in the middle of the LP. It's kind of like Bunny loses the will to continue shaking things up, or he just wants to use this section of the album to give fans the sounds and vibes that they kind of go into a Bad Bunny album expecting at this point. The worst it really gets is with the song Aguacero, which frankly is just too low-key and too much of a snoozer to not skip. The singing feels a bit off on the following track too, like I can audibly hear Bad Bunny, despite all the vocal processing, the very heavy-handed vocal processing, he's not really rocking it in tune too well. Thankfully, Bunny at least tries to go out with a bang in the last third of the LP, getting his will to explore different sounds and vibes back, for better or worse. I mean, we do get some very sleepy pop rock with the Marias on Otro Atardecer, which is just merely okay. Really just one more bland moment this LP doesn't need. And then there's also Me Fui de Vacaciones, which is kind of a generic reggae track, to the point where it kind of sounds like the music bed of a, like a cruise ship commercial. Still, with that being said, we do have some special moments on the back end here, like the very passionate acoustic cut Un COCO, and El APAGON kicks off with these really entrancing drum circle rhythms, eventually bursting into these buzzing house beats that are some of the most thrilling on the entire LP. Look, without doubt and without question, this is a big project from Bad Bunny. It's a big, fat project that covers a lot of bases and does a little bit of everything. There are pockets where it's incredibly bold and experimental, trying something entirely new for Bunny, and frankly, doing it really well much of the time. There are a bunch of cuts on here where he's essentially playing into the expectations of fans, maybe a little too hard, and maybe not, I guess, doing it as colorfully as he could, because it's rare that these tracks kind of hit as hard as many of the cuts off of Yo Hago did. So yeah, we kind of veer back and forth on this record from being extremely bold or extremely bland, and overall, when we consider all the tracks, there is kind of another element playing against this record, and that is that it's also extremely bloated. But there is also a general lyrical focus on this record that is certainly helping its consistency too. So yes, while this LP does bring some of my favorite Bad Bunny tracks to the table so far, I think it's a bit of a slog as an overall project, but at least I can leave this project, as well as some of the more adventurous spots off El Ultimo, knowing that Bad Bunny is going to continue to experiment and try new things as he pushes forward. I'm feeling a decent 2 strong 6 on this one. Transition, have you given this record a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head, it's another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Bad Bunny, Un Verano Sin Ti, forever.